A new day dawns. TechTober's upon us. TechTober. It's the season of things here on YouTube. And as a YouTuber, I have mixed feelings about what dominates my channel this time of year. When I started YouTube, I was a part-timer. I was an online personal and group trainer, and I made YouTube videos in my free time. The goal? Well, that was to provide as much value to as many people as I possibly could, sharing my experiences and my expertise. The problem is, all of the videos that I thought had real value, tutorials, how-tos, nutritional concepts, physical therapy hacks, etc., none of those went anywhere. You want to know what really cooks on YouTube? Gear, things. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with things or the channels that are just about things. I love things. I mean, look around. This entire office, this entire space is more or less a display of the things I love. I mean, I do feel like I'm doing you a disservice though, if all I talk about video after video is just things. A year ago, I made a video which you thought was just about a thing. That was just a facade. The true subject of that video was cleverly hidden. It's called Disconnect, the real reason you should buy an Apple Watch Ultra. That video wasn't 12 minutes of me talking about processing speed and display brightness, no. It was my experience and the incredible freedom I felt when disconnected from all the negativity, the comparison, and the pressure of staying connected with everyone on social media through my phone. It was a feeling, and that resonated with you. I suspect people aren't buying the things that they buy purely because of the specs. I think people are buying and keeping the things they buy because of the emotions and the experiences those things are giving them. Take, for example, this. This is my Apple Vision Pro. And as you know, it is brutally expensive. And it also lacks in some of the feature departments when it comes to its competitor. It is much heavier. It doesn't have the field of view, but none of that matters to me. Why? Oh, there's a good one of me and Henry right there. Oh.
Wow. That was unexpected. Yeah. I think it's honestly worth it just for these moments.
I also have the Quest 2. And despite it costing a seventh of what the Apple Vision Pro costs, and it having many of the same features, I never once, not once, got that feeling using this. I've got another example for you of what I'm talking about. I shoot a ton of photos, right? Like pretty much every day, my goal is to take 100 photos. This is a fantastic camera. It has excellent autofocus. It's got this flippy, rotatey screen so that if I'm vlogging or if I want to do like a selfie, man, I can do it. It's got stabilization so that when I take the photo, the sensor is perfectly stabilized and I don't get any image blur. And there are a ton of buttons all over this thing that you can customize to whatever function you want it to do to make your life easier. All right. This camera has none of that. It is literally purely manual focus. There's no autofocus. I have to do all of the focusing myself through these little rangefinder patches. It's very difficult, actually. I can't tell you how many photos I miss because of this rangefinder experience. It also doesn't have image stabilization. So if I'm a little shaky when I take the photo, you're gonna notice that. It doesn't have a flip out screen. In fact, the screen is fixed to the back of the camera, and I almost never use the screen. I use this little teeny tiny viewfinder. And this camera, this is very important here, this camera roughly costs a sixth of what this camera costs. But photography means a great deal to me. It's done tremendous work for my mental health and just positive well-being. And the more I shoot, the less I care about the overall image, and more I care about the experience. And so despite this not having those features, if I really want to make that process, if I want to feel like I'm a part of that process and make that experience worth it, this is the camera I take. I mean, just listen to this shutter here. One more quick example just to prove that it's not about the money. This camera is $400, which is dirt cheap compared to these cameras. But its main feature is that you can take a photo with it and then immediately print that photo out and give it to somebody. So it's like an instant camera that prints photos. Awesome, $400. This camera cost $20. And this is a 40-year-old Polaroid. It's got a flash. It is archaic compared to this. I did not mean to do that shit. I forgot when you pop this up, it turns on. You gotta understand, like, the pleasure and the joy it gives me to press that button and get this big shock, the shutter shock response. The flash goes off. The noise it makes is so much fun. Like, this is like a click and then it just prints out. And there's no personality to it. And this costs, man, like a 20th of what that costs. As of today, October 1st, it's TechTober. And how things work on YouTube is you're going to see a ton of gear pushed by YouTube and the YouTubers, myself included. You can expect to see iPhones, Apple Watches, cars, headphones, you name it, anything and everything. And while this isn't initially the value I thought I'd be sharing with you, I do still think I can provide you some value even when talking about things. Before you buy anything you see off of my channel or anybody else's, ask yourself two questions. Number one, will this new thing provide me an experience or an emotion I'm currently not getting? And number two, am I trying to feel some empty part of myself by buying this thing? Hopefully with these two questions, you can avoid that buyer's remorse, or worse yet, having to defend your purchase decision on social media because it's expensive or cheap just because it brings you joy. Well, that's it. It was a super short one. This is not a video I was planning on making, but since I just picked up the iPhone 16 for reasons I will discuss in the next video, and it got me wondering, what value could I possibly provide you by giving you an iPhone 16 rundown from my perspective? Well, I figured this would be a video you would appreciate. Thanks again for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
Oh yeah, this is the photo I ended up grabbing with my Polaroid. Brilliant, right? Should hang this or something. All right, see ya.